Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming, playing Phantom Doctrine. This time I thought we'd just play into a mission from one of the missions I've been playing a while. I thought that'd be easier than trying from the new game. So we're going to start from how you set up a mission, and we'll play into it a while. We won't play the whole mission, I'm sure. And this game, you don't need to, when you get to the different levels, you don't need to progress them at any particular speed. There's always a story advancing mission. Sometimes there's more than one, but you don't have to do those in any hurry. You don't have to do them at all, actually, because there's always going to be new missions for killing enemy agents or rescuing your own agents or things like that. Or finding enemy bases, safe houses, and raiding them. So if you want to keep playing just because it's fun, or because you want to keep leveling up your own agents, you can stay on one level for a long time, or as quickly as you want, and you can really just play as many hours as you want on each level. So these red diamonds, they're enemy bases, enemy missions. That one is a number station, which is actually a story progression mission. And this one is it's called a beholder cell, and what that is, it's an enemy agent cell, it's an enemy agent base, which isn't a story progression mission, so we'll do that one. And to do it, all you need to do is to click on it. Now these options will come up. You can do any of these things. You can infiltrate, which means you might get some documents. You can stake out the cell, and try and find out what they're doing. You can do tactical recon. That can be very good because it gives you other options, and you can have agents positioned around the mission, which can use sniper rifles and gas and things. But for the purposes of this mission, just to make it quick, and we're just doing it to do a tutorial on the actual setup of the mission and the in-play mission, we'll just do an assault, which is there, and then it will give you all the agents you might want to send, and you can dismiss them back to the base or change their equipment. So for example, that one, he's only, you can see from the second thing down where it says cannot use tactical, he's also, his HP health is low, then it could be 160, it's 82, so we wouldn't use him. Her the same, hers is 61 out of 95, so we wouldn't use her. And then you'll just kind of know what ones you want to use. Obviously, the longer you've been playing, the more you'll get familiar with which types you want. As I kind of play these, and this is again, you can set it up differently, but I have kind of three types. These types that are a bit like this one, where they have a couple of more close range guns, maybe a machine gun, which she has, and a shotgun type of thing, or two machine guns, and they're used for actually knocking out the agents that are close up, things like that. I might take one that's let me show you, like this one, who has a long range machine gun, which is very powerful, and that's useful to do overwatches and something like that, the heavy artillery ones. And then there's also I can set one up for you, or you can, I'll find one on here that I've already got set up. Send in people that are already she is, so we'll pick her, already armoured, so she's got armour. So if I just add her, you can see she's wearing armour. There's many different types of armour. There's body armour, there's much bigger body armour, and they all, and I'll show you that as well, they all affect movement and your HP and everything. So there's what she's wearing, and there's all the options of armour. These don't get noticed, so basically if you wear any of these two, they're just like bulletproof vests, basically, heavy vest. You don't get noticed. If you wear any of these with the red triangles, they're obvious to the enemy, and if any enemy soldiers or agents see you, they'll alert everybody else straight away, and your cover's broken. So they can be useful. As you can see, they all have high damage thresholds, and some of them have movement penalties, but you'll have to be careful when you start, because sometimes, literally by bad luck, you can start the game in a place where an enemy officer or an enemy soldier is just standing in front of you, and they'll see you. So those can be good, but they can be risky as well. So anyway, so those are the sort of 3 types of operatives I kind of have. So we'll put in one of the openly hostile ones just to see what happens. We've got one of those, we've got one of those. He hasn't got level that much, so we won't have him. We will pick, let's see, here we will have, not me, that's me. I won't go myself because no, my luck I'll get killed. We'll pick him. And he's already armoured, he's got much more armour, he's got a helmet as well, so again he would be someone you'd use as a tank, so you might send him in first if there's a lot of gunfire or you think there's going to be an area where there's gunfire, so he can take a lot of hits, but bear in mind you don't want to send him up front before you get your covers broken, because then he'll break your cover if anyone sees him. So it's all options, and then I'd send maybe... That one can't go because she's training, so we'll send her. And you can pick whoever, like I said, you'll get to know kind of which ones you want. We'll send her. Okay, so that's a rough guess. You've got 2 that's openly hostile, 4 others. Distract, what that means is anyone that can speak the language, and as you can see we're doing an operation in Russia, so it says language is Russian, she's fluent in Russian, it will tell you in her bio. Anyone who's fluent in a language can use a distract, and what that means is they can speak to a guard, and that might distract them from seeing one of your agents. It can be useful. I've not used it loads of times, but it can be useful. It's always worth having one of those with you. You'll never have all of them because no one's going to have very unlikely you have 6 agents that speak Russian, for example, or any language, but it's always useful to have one, it doesn't hurt, and so I'll send her, and then we just press launch mission and we're off. So the launch is pretty fast, and as you can see the objectives are eliminate sales leaders and evacuate. They're pretty self-explanatory. The other thing you'll be doing is picking up loot, which is weapons, grenades, and also photographing documents you find, and it will tell you how many of each of those there are when you start the mission. And again, you'll have to weigh up the risks. Sometimes you will realise that especially if you get your covers broken quickly, and if your cover's broken, it accounts everybody. It is not anyone who's immune to cover. Once your cover's broken for one operative, all their covers are broken. So sometimes you'll realise quickly, especially if your cover's broken early on, it's not worth running around trying to get all the documents, all the equipment. I've even been in rooms where the option was to try to head towards the evacuation area and grab documents, and I decided to go because it just wasn't worth the possibility of being stuck there and killed or shot down. So it'll give you a couple of options. Sometimes it's 3, there's always more than one. Sometimes it's 2, 3, 4. Usually it's 2 or 3, and you can pick which one you want. It's usually hard to know, but if you see one that's more open with a red camera in front of you and one isn't, if you've got people that are wearing armour that's visible, then it's probably best to pick the one where those things aren't. So we'll go for that one, and we'll see what we get, and we'll just play into this a little bit. We might continue actually another time, but so you come out in your van. As I said, it's always raining in this game. If it's not raining, it will rain at some point. I think it's part of the aesthetics. It makes it look.
Prepare for a tough fight.
It makes it look good. Of course, it doesn't always rain there, and it's not always dark. So okay, that's interesting. So we've done what I said happens sometimes. There's an enemy police officer, one of the not very high hit points ones, but he's standing right there. We've got 2 people with armour that can't be hidden, and yes, we could try and hide them around there, but we've got no idea what's around there. We can try and hide them over here, but we've got no idea what's there. We might run into somebody straight away. So the best option out of that, and we can't know that we won't get caught taking him down, but the best thing we can do with that is we will use one of our agents, and we will, let's be kind. We'll just overwatch him in case someone else comes around there, and then we'll use her, I think, and we'll take him down. We could have shot him, but we won't. So there you go, we've taken him down. That means he's unconscious basically, and then we can use anybody. We'll just pick her because she's near. And what you can do is there's another option in this abilities thing, and it's that one where it's got a picture of a body, a red body with a cross, and it's dispose of body, and that's always useful. There's no disguise body or hide bodies in any other way. You can't make them go invisible because it's not a tech game like things in Watch Dogs Legion you can do, or XCOM, so you can only dispose of them. So you get somebody, one of your agents, to dispose of the body. I would always recommend disposing of bodies before you get discovered and before your team is obvious to the enemy, because it might mean you don't get discovered for longer. Now what she's seen is someone down there, and that person is a civilian because they haven't got a military hat on. You can tell civilians, and he may well have walked this way. He may well walk this way. Also there's a military person down there as well, so it was worth doing that with the body. She's still got a few movement points. We'll just send her around there for no reason. She won't have enough to overwatch. And then we want the next person, and we'll send someone. It's always good to send people a few different directions to check out a few different things. There is one of those terminals, which is a camera thing, which is good to turn off. If you're playing it very safe, you can look through the window to check there's nobody in there. There may be somebody hidden that you can't quite see, but in this thing I'll just show you. So we just press that, and she'll jump through the window, like so. And she'll go there, and she'll turn off some cameras, and it will tell you she's only turned off 5, but that can be a lot. She's still got points. You can open a door just to have a look inside, see if anyone's coming, and then you can close the door. I recommend always closing doors unless you want to be on an overwatch, or unless you're looking for something, because an enemy agent can walk past, and if the door's open they can see you, and also they can shoot you. So I'd always recommend closing doors if you don't need them open for any reason. So that's her. Then we've got the 2 people with armour. So what we'll do here is we'll send one into this room here, because we can see there's a door there. It's always good to have someone by a door. So we'll send her in there. Number 1, because she's kind of going to overwatch that door. If she's got points left, I don't know. Yes, she has. So she can overwatch that. Anyone coming through the door, but also it means there's someone who can go and see what's the other side of that door in a minute. And the other guy here, who's also got armour on, we'll send him in there, not for any particular reason, but just to get him out of view if anyone comes around the corner. Also remember that people can look through windows, so if a guard came past here and there was a guy standing there with armour, they would see him, and that would bust your cover. Strangely, if you're not in a red zone, these border zones where you're meant to be trespassing, even if you're standing like she is with a gun, they don't react. So although enemy agents can recognise your agents, the other military, the soldiers and the police officers, they don't recognise you. So anyway, that's that turn. Everyone's had their turn. You can tell because all their pictures are darkened out slightly, and that ends the turn. They'll take their turn. And we can't really see what they're doing because we've not got anyone around there to watch. And like I said, this game is almost always in night. I'm trying to remember if it was ever in the daytime. I don't think it was. And it's almost always raining, so it's good to always see what's going on in different places. So now we've got people spread out a little bit, and we send her down there just so she's got a view of what's going on, because you won't know, and it might be that right down there, and we'll send her a bit further along. It might be down there there's a whole gang of enemy agents or enemy soldiers, or there's not, and it's not, but we found another door, so that's worthwhile.
Who is that?
And the red thing was some civilian. We don't want to send you again. It's all different choices, and in a different mission I might do it differently, but in this mission I'm not going to send anyone off ahead again. send somebody around to all different locations. We'll send her there, not just because she's going to have cover in case she needs to overwatch. You never know when you might want people in different areas to cover you, but also there's a window there which she can check in. There's nobody in there, just to know. And then we can put in a civilian there, and we could, if it was necessary, we could take them down or kill them, but there's no point because we're not doing anything illegal, so we'll just let them stand there. We've got a person there. Now, see, that's good we saw that civilian, because had we sent this person with armour through the door to stand there or go there, that civilian might easily have walked past that window there and seen us. So, and sometimes you'll forget, or sometimes you'll just do something and you'll think it's fine and you won't realise, and it won't be fine. It's like I said, this game is not easy. It's not easy to not get caught and break your cover early on, and once you do break your cover, it all gets hot very quickly. So we sent the guy with the armour there because he can do another overwatch without going out the door, just in case somebody walked through the door.
Reporting.
She's done hers, but there's no harm in putting. There's another police officer. So just to show you, in case it does anything, either way. Now, normally you might not shoot him because we can't see what's around that corner up ahead. There might be somebody else. Well, actually there is. There's a civilian over there, and I can't tell if they can. They're not looking the right way, but they are quite close. And civilians can be annoying in this. You think they're going one way, and then they'll turn back and go the other way just when you've knocked somebody out or shot somebody. So okay, I won't shoot him. We'll just overwatch that. And you can pick your overwatch. All those yellow squares are overwatch. You can pick where you want to overwatch. If you want to overwatch different directions, you can do it in that way. So you just overwatch there. Then we've got her. Just for game's sake, we'll look through there again, and we'll send her just a little way into there, into that area. We've already got the guy covering from the doorway, and she's also got to look at that guard. And now you get to that decision point where you can shoot him, because you could turn around and look through the window that we can shoot him through and see us, and we're in a trespassing zone in that red marked zone, or we could leave him and hope he doesn't, and 9 times out of 10 you'll get it wrong, because there's absolutely no way of knowing. So we will just overwatch. We'll overwatch down the corridor on the basis that he might see us, and then we might have someone come down here. So it's all just what might happen. There's lots of that in this game, and it's all quite fun, and it's all quite good to guess.
Leave me alone.
There's our girl who's got armour. Now we've already checked that there's no door there, so there's nowhere for her to go in there if she did go in there, so we'll send her back towards that door to go that way as well, because there's no point in her being there. Always put people on overwatch, there's no harm, and it just means if something happens you've got some people ready. Same with her. She could shoot, everyone could shoot these people. We could shoot the civilian and we could shoot the guard, but we might not need to, so we'll end that turn. And there you go, the guard walked off. He didn't need to die. Now that's an enemy agent. You'll always spot them straight away, because they've usually got much higher hit points than everybody else, any other enemies. They're almost always over 100. So we've seen an enemy agent. We'll move people in gradually. We'll move her in to there, and that civilian might have to die at some point. Civilians can be really annoying, because they can keep being in a place you want to go, and you'll never quite be sure that you can do it or go there, because they might turn around or come back. So at some point you'll probably have to kill them. It's a brutal world. So yeah, I think we're going to kill that civilian, because he's just standing around there too long. He could turn back, he could come around at any point, and it's best. Now we've killed him, he's not going to watch the guard, so now we've got
Reporting.
an option of killing that guard and the enemy agent's down there, so I think we'll just move a little bit down here so we're out of view of the enemy agent who's inside, and then we'll just finish him. And that's the end of him. And now we're getting into the kind of more full-on part where we've got people spread out. It's much more difficult, and it's not really practical to keep hiding bodies. We've already just killed 2 people, and we haven't got any agents outside that didn't just kill somebody, so we'd have to send an agent from inside to go and hide a body, or we'd have to wait with those agents that did it, and they'd have to hide their own handiwork, and that takes time and it can be kind of pointless. So we won't bother doing that. She's there, and we'll keep on Overwatch because I think there's an enemy agent down that corridor. We'll send her around to here, and we'll look through that window. It's always good to have someone just checking around. That's good, we found stairs. We don't need them now, but it's always good to know where the stairs are. It's usually more than one. There's a civilian there, but we still don't need to kill that civilian. We may need to in advance. We'll go a bit further down. We'll find another window, and then we'll put her on an Overwatch. There's another civilian there. Yeah, and like I said, the problem with civilians is the one who we just killed, he was on his own down one side of the building, but those 2 at the front, and there's 2, there may be more, and a civilian can see another civilian shot or dead, and they'll cause an alarm. So yeah, I think that's all we need to do for now. We'll end that turn. And there it would say some guards failed to report back, so that happens when you're doing a stealth mission, which is all missions. At some point when you start killing guards, guards will stop reporting back, and you'll get busted anyway. There's no way I've found, especially with these missions where there's quite a lot of enemy agents and there's a big base, there's no way of doing the whole mission really in stealth. At some point they'll stop seeing guards coming back, or you'll get seen, a civilian will see you, So okay, we've been busted. I think that civilian saw the dead body, which happened, so there, that's worked out quite nicely, because there's an enemy agent and there's an enemy agent, and as you can see we've got quite a few people spread about near them. So then it's a question of what you want to do. So she's got a very good shot on him, and you might as well just shoot him. When you're playing longer, what you might want to do, and I would do normally even now, is you might want to think which agents want to get hit points and level up points. So you might decide to kill somebody using an agent you particularly want to be levelling up, but I'm not thinking about it in this. So okay, so then we'll send her. She's got armour, but now it doesn't matter, she's got armour because we're all busted, so she can finish him off with that, and that will definitely finish him off. So that's one enemy agent dead, and on the top left hand corner it says eliminate all opposition, 3 of 9. We've killed 3, which was the 2 guards we shot outside of that enemy agent. Reinforcements will come in 4 turns, and there'll be at least there's usually 4 different soldiers, and they're not policemen, they're usually quite heavily armed. So, and once they come, then there'll be another set of reinforcements or an airstrike in another 4 turns or 3 turns, so it's not ending once you get busted. So we've got another enemy agent there. We've got this guy who's got armour, so then what we'll do is we'll send him here, because sometimes you kind of want them to shoot the people with armour, and he might not die. We won't be able to kill all these enemy agents with what we've got probably, so we'll just shoot him a bit, and he's shot. But not dead. We've got her. She can come to here and come inside, and she can shoot him. And again, we won't kill him. So then what we'll probably do is we'll overwatch and hope that we can kill him with an overwatch. Bring her down to here. You don't want, again, as with all games, you don't want everybody in this one corner, number 1, because something can happen somewhere else, and number 2, because often enemy agents, and especially the agents, but some of the soldiers as well, They can have grenades and other things, gas grenades, explosion grenades, things, and they can chuck it, and the more people you've got in one little cluster, the more risk it is to everyone to be injured. So we'll put her on an overwatch to look down there. Again, we've been busted, so there's no harm in being seen, so we'll send her in here, see if she finds anyone to shoot. Probably not. And then what we'll do is we'll put her on an overwatch of the stairs, because then if someone comes down there, she can shoot them and shoot around that area, and that's everybody. That agent is going to run, and we shot him, but again, we didn't kill him, so he's run away. But we've kind of got him cornered because, yeah, he's shooting. Our agent didn't do much damage. She was covered by that. There's different bullets you can use as well, which are is many different types. Some are serrated edge bullets, and they cause bleeding, so even if you shot someone, and they can be very useful. I mean, if someone survives an initial shooting and they've got very few hit points, they die the next turn anyway because they're still bleeding, so those things can be very useful. There's quite a few different types of toxic ammo and different ammo that boosts your hit points, but the ones that do ongoing damage I always find are the most useful.
Who is that?
So we'll just finish this and then we'll end this video. It will be very long. So she's got a shot on him. She's got 84 damage shot on a guy with 19 hit points, so that should finish him. She's also got an 85, but we'll just finish him with this, and that's the end of him. So there you can see how combat can work. This has been quite a good mission. It's gone quite well because we've killed 4 of 9. We've still got 3 turns before the reinforcements arrive. It's rare you don't get reinforcements arriving and you have to plan for that. But yeah, this has gone quite well. So anyway, that's initial setup for a mission. That's what you do when you start a mission. That's how you try and proceed in a mission. That's what happens when you get busted, when your squad gets busted, and that's how you kind of arrange to take down different people. Overwatch is very, very useful in this game. I can't state how useful it is. And you'll often get much better hits. You can often kill an enemy agent if you can plan ahead. A lot of this game is planning ahead. If you can plan ahead to have at least 2 of your agents overwatching where you think or assume they might run to or run from, you can kill an enemy agent that you wouldn't kill with 2 normal shots, because sometimes your actual shots don't do as much damage as Overwatch. So Overwatch and thinking ahead is very good. It's very important in this game, much more I'd say than in a game like Necromunda, Underhive Wars, where you're thinking ahead to a point, but everything is kind of more in real time. You're reacting to what people do at the time, where in this game you're reacting a lot to what people might do. That civilian might walk that way, that police officer might do this enemy agent might come down that corridor. It's much more thinking ahead to things you don't know, because you can't even see, as you've seen, is, you know, Fog of War, you can't even see the places. Unlike Necromunda, where you can see everywhere at the beginning, you can't see places you've not been, so you're planning for things you can't see, for agents and enemies you don't know where they are, what they've got, and you can't see what anyone's got until you find them. So it's much more thinking ahead and kind of half guessing and half planning ahead, and that's a lot of fun. I think this game, of all the turn-based games I've played, of which I've done quite a few, I think this is the one where thinking long ahead and planning what you're going to do when you get to a place, and each move of each person, and even once you start, like now, once the cover's broken, thinking ahead to, okay, how will I get the last 5 enemies in the base. And another thing I didn't mention is reinforcements will keep coming until you've killed the original people. So it says eliminate all opposition. If we killed those 5 remaining before these reinforcements come, then we can finish the mission. We'll still have to escape, but we can finish the mission. We don't need to kill the rest of the reinforcements. If these reinforcements arrive first, and let's say there's 4 of them, they will be added to the people we have to kill, and it will then say we've still got 13 to kill instead of 9, and so on. So once people are here, not incoming, you have to kill them all before you leave. So there's a huge incentive to think of now, how can I try to kill those extra 5 people that were here originally, to stop more reinforcements coming and those reinforcements adding, and you can get to a situation, which I have on many occasions, where you've just missed one original person or one of the reinforcements that's already there, and you end up with new ones coming and you can't stop them, and you end up with like you've got to kill like 16 of 30, and it just gets to a point where it's impossible because there's so many and you'll never kill them all in one turn. So it's always worth trying to think on that figure in the left hand corner, 4 of 9. You need to kill everyone to stop more reinforcements, or not to stop the reinforcements but to stop it, meaning that you have to stay to kill the reinforcements. Then you can just evacuate and ignore the reinforcements unless you have to fight them. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. I'm sure it's been quite long, and I may come back and play a bit more of level further in, or we may not. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.